Good morning, everyone. It's Elsie. It's Tuesday. Okay, I'm trying to keep track of my days here. It's probably one of the last coolish mornings that we're going to have here. So I love wearing jeans and a sweatshirt. If I could wear jeans and a sweatshirt all year, I would definitely do that. But we are quickly exiting jeans weather for sure, and probably sweatshirt weather as well. So it is what it is. So I am definitely in a very boring part of this pattern. And it just, takes a long time. So I feel like I'm not accomplishing anything. But I did get some of this done down here. So this is going to go up here in a skinnier line after I do this stuff. And then once I have that done, I can start working on these big, cool flowers over here. So I'm getting there. I probably have, well, maybe not almost as much done as I had before, although it's just a different pattern, so it looks different. But I like it. I'm still liking it. So here's where I am right about here. So I just have to do this little bit here, and then there's a line that goes over there, and then I'll have that done, and I can start doing these cool flowers. Yay, some of which will be pink, so that'll add a little interest into it. So it's coming along. It's just slow. I mean, I probably worked on it for at least an hour. I feel like it was 2 hours, but it just does not look like that much. But yeah, but it's good. It's coming along. I'm liking it. I do love this squirrel in the corner who has this giant crown above him. He's eating something. There's another squirrel on the other side, and what he's eating is shaped differently, so they're each eating something different. I can't tell what either of the things are, but yeah. So that's cool. I'm liking it. I really want to work on the Russian project with the big sun, but I just don't have time to do both right now. And then once I am done with the arts marathon, I am going to be working on my book because I found someone to illustrate it who is an amazing, very cool local artist. So that's going to motivate me. I really need to edit it down. I'll have to talk about that some other time, but I decided sort of halfway through writing it that I wanted it to be in a different format, a much smaller format. And so I had to basically cut the word count at least in half. So, which just tells you how many words in a book are not needed at all. Anyway, so I told you yesterday that I was going to share my junk journal with you, which is my collage journal. It's sort of how I started off in collage a few years ago. I don't even know why I decided to. I've always loved paper art, but at some point a couple of years ago, I was just like, I really want to get into this more. But even I've always been someone, I love to send handwritten cards and postcards. I always have. Every year I send dozens of birthday cards to people. And at Christmas, or at the holidays, I send 80 to 100 handwritten cards. Some years I used to make the cards and write in them, which was a really onerous task. But one year I made these really cool cards that I have these old encyclopedias. And so I would take an encyclopedia page and glue it onto, actually some of them I printed on, which I'm surprised that even worked because they're very fragile. But one year I printed this antique-y looking Christmas tree onto each of these old encyclopedia pages. And then I think another year I did a cutout of a Christmas tree in green construction paper and put that on the page. But yeah, I've just always done this, and I love getting this kind of thing in the mail. And so I love sending it because I know how, especially today, excited people get when they get something in the mail that's personal, right? Almost everything that comes to my mailbox here is junk mail. So I know people like to get personal things. I mean, how, what are the chances that you're going to have printed out an email from 20 years ago and suddenly pull that, you know? Or if you had an email from 20 years ago and it was still in your email, would you ever even see it again? Because you put it in a folder to save it, and then it just gets lost. And, so I really am very nostalgic and sentimental. Whoops. I'm sentimental. And so I try to give people the things that I know I like to get and hope they like to get them too. So anyway, I've kind of always had this love of paper art. But I never thought of it as paper art. I just thought I was making cards for people. And just like my family's history of needlework and how they never considered it art. But I will say, like, embroidery is much more of an art than cross stitch. I think embroidery is very imprecise, whereas cross stitch is very precise. And that's probably what I like about it. But, what my mother or grandmother was doing was truly, I consider, an art. And I'm sure they did not, but maybe they did. I don't think they did. Especially since a lot of times it was more practical and it showed up like on the edge of pillowcases or on a table runner or a doily, right? Anyway, it's just so interesting. And what's also interesting to me is that no one else in my family, I mean, my sister Liz does sometimes make things for her garden, but not really a lot. I don't see anyone else in my family as being super crafty. So it's just interesting, or artsy. It's interesting that I um, am that way. But another thing too is that my siblings are more, I mean, I don't think that's it though. I was going to say they're more like working class. Well, they do have kids. They raised children. So I know it's harder to find time for that when you raise children and when you have certain kinds of jobs. So maybe I just have more free time to explore it, because I know you do need free time to be creative. You can't, it's hard to force creativity on yourself. So I am grateful that I've had some free time, and I didn't raise children, and my job is not too onerous. Sometimes it's not right now. If anyone needs a website developed, I have time in my schedule, and I'm extremely good at what I do. Anyway, so this is my junk journal. I bought this on Etsy, and I think they call it a junk journal because it's like quote unquote junk paper. So every page is like a different kind of paper. There's thicker paper, there's thinner paper, there's different colored paper. Some of it is lined, or this, I don't know if you can see it, it's got dots on it. Oh yeah, here's a grid and lined paper, and the lines are going vertically, which it makes it interesting. Here's another grid. So I guess that's why they call it, and this is like diagonal lines, call it a junk journal. So, I, a lot of what's in here is experimentation. So this is one I did, and I actually stitched on it. So these lines are sewing. And I do sometimes draw, not very often, but I did draw on this. I would love to be able to draw better, but again, it goes back to time. Like, I would love to learn every skill in the world, but is that practical? Do I have time for that? Will it? And obviously some things you do just because you want to do them and not because they will make you money or whatever. But I have to think, like, I'd love to take voice lessons, but do I have the money or time to do that? And what will it get me? And, just things like that. So this one, it's called Rage Becomes Her, because as females, we should be angry. My cat's feet are just weirdly dispensed a couple pieces for no reason. Okay, so this actually was me trying out some different flowers. So I do follow this Etsy page where they show you how to draw different things. So that was me. And these are like really easy flowers. And then this, I was actually on the yellow, I was experimenting with some stencils that I had bought. Oh, here's some more flowers, actually. These are kind of cute, like with lots of dots around them to make them look magical. And I don't go in order. I skip pages. Like I use whatever page has the kind of paper that I want. Oh, actually, this one this is a printout from that Pulley printer I showed you yesterday. Kind of like that page. It's nice. Oh, this I made at the start of the Ukraine invasion, and this is one of the old encyclopedia pages, and it's actually the page about Russia. So it was pretty cool that I could find that. Oh, and this, let's see, the yellow parts of the flag are actually fabric that I cut out. And this book is just for me. I mean, almost everything I do is just for me, but I'm really happy. This page is about my migraines. So I like that one. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, this was just me playing around with some ink. I think this is ink that goes in a pen, but I was playing with it somehow. I don't even know what I was putting that on with. Oh, and then I found this woman online, and every year she puts out this packet, and it's basically collage prompts for a year. So I was like, oh, that would be really interesting. So I have done some of her collage prompts, and it basically says, make a collage with these items. Like this one obviously said a ticket, a stamp, and I forget what else it said, but this is what I ended up coming up with, which I was super happy with. I got this girl skiing downhill, and then I found these two rabbits are like staring up at her. So yeah, so this was one of, oh, and I think I put on the back of them, yeah, that it was, so she actually gives you like a hashtag, so you can put them on Instagram, and then you can follow the hashtag to see what other people did with the same prompt, which is so interesting. So yeah, that was one of those. I really like that. See, I hardly ever look through here. I think this was another one of hers. Yeah, it probably says on the back, because it's got I think she said like words in another language, and then, oh, a barcode. And then I love that I took this picture of myself and cut it into 3 pieces and then offset them. So yeah, that was another one that I should go through some more of those prompts. This one, this has a page from the encyclopedia, the page for artillery, and it says, instant terrorist, just add guns. I like that one. I worked on that for a while. I actually did draw those guns and cut them out, which was pretty impressive. Let's see. Oh, interesting. I started this, but I don't think I ever finished it. It's called I Don't Know How to Be Your Friend. And there's a little man up here, and this is a crevasse even. But I didn't finish this. Must have been I was ideating. Oh, this one I like too. This one is called Mixed Messages. Oh, and actually, so this guy here, I printed that off with the Pulley printer and then cut out around it. Yeah, then I wrote a little journal entry actually about that mixed messages one. Like I said, most of these are like me processing things, right? So these are some, this was just me playing with acrylic markers that I bought. Look how pretty those are. I should do more with those. I also bought watercolors, which I have not played with yet, which I would like to play with sometime. Oh, here's another one of the prompts. And there's a little girl with a, well, I think it's supposed to be a mirror, but it could be a magnifying glass in this context. She's examining that giant butterfly. So yeah, this is just kind of my place to play, which has been really, really fun. Like, art doesn't have to be serious. It can just be you playing, you experimenting, you know, that's what I love about it, is that there's no right answer and there's no wrong answer, which is great. So anyway, I feel like I've gone on a really long time. I see this is 17 minutes long, but I've enjoyed sharing that with you and I hope you enjoyed it too. And I guess that's all I have to say today, and I will see you tomorrow.